listening to the Motor Mouths.
Hello. You guys are the best. Man, you guys are insane, hilarious, and the best stuff I've ever seen.
That's right, Chris and Ray.
Motor Mouth.
Can I win anything? I got through. I can't believe I got through.
Well, I'm glad you guys are around because I didn't even know you existed.
Hey, how are you, Motor Mouth?
This is one of those days, nothing to do, so I figure why not spend it with a couple of nobodies.
Motor Mouth.
You also have my picture up on the webpage.
Boy, you taught me something about that car.
Why must you ask such difficult questions?
Motor Mouth.
I don't know too much about motors.
Do I come running into your show?
We love you guys that have these shows.
Our trained staff of 2 will help.
Is this that jerky car show that I listen to?
Oh, you distributed capital, my under porch condenser.
Quite frankly, there are better things to do with your time.
Trying to dial the phone with transmission fluid all over me. I finally got a chance to listen to you guys streaming.
I'm in a good mood. I'm happy.
Yeah, I want to know what the is wrong with my car.
I haven't even called my own mechanic back, but why don't I ask you?
But you guys are pretty special guys.
Motor Mouth.
Must be a motorcycle thing, because I'm not familiar with that.
Yes.
Let's just think right now. Murphy's Law. What's going to go wrong? Is the board going to explode? Is the mic going to drop? Is my phone going to drop? I love live radio. I'm just having some fun with you guys.
There are answers, sometimes correct ones, and we may have them.
Motor Mouth Radio, 90.3 FM, WHPC.
Motor Mouth.
This is Motor Mouth Radio, your 1-hour automotive talk show. And now, here are your Motor Mouths, Chris Switzer and Ray Guarino.
Alrighty, just consider us your ice-cold six-pack of automotive knowledge. We're Motor Mouth Radio, your 1-hour automotive talk show right here on Long Island. I'm Chris Switzer. And of course, here's a man who performs his own triathlon by waking up, number 1, waking up, number 2, eating his Cheerios, and number 3, making his way over to the studio. Why? Because this is the weather he cannot stand. Takes him so much just to get him out of bed and get him out of the house. But we got him here, behind the shop bench. Ray Guarino, how are you, my brother?
Good, Chris, and you make it sound easy.
Yes, because I love this weather.
It's not easy. Yeah, coming from the man who was beaten out by Aubrey Morris. For the part, I know, it was the biggest thing of your life, and you missed out, and I felt bad. We don't always get what we want.
Who?
Missed out on the part of the sniveling probation officer, P.R. Deltoid. Of course, in the movie Clockwork Orange. Well, Aubrey just passed away at 89, so metrics. I know that you wouldn't.
You know, I saw that movie as a kid, as a teenager, and I hated it.
Yeah, well, you didn't get the part.
I couldn't stand. I was like the only guy in the theater going, credits, please, credits.
I saw it as part of a high school class I was in.
Come on, you had no class.
I didn't say I had class. It was part of a class I was in.
Uh-huh.
And it was called Futuristics. It was something new. Well, back in the 70s.
They experimented with us.
Well, everything was going towards future trends, and this was, my school had done some stuff, future trends in education. It was a new style class which took your history and your English class, kind of what my daughter did now in what was called high school experience, or senior experience.
Right.
And put it into one class, and it was all kind of very no assigned seating. Everything was loose. You sit around a room wherever you want, and two teachers taught it. And we explored, we just talked about things that we think would happen in the future and trends and ecology, because ecology was big starting back then.
Right.
And all that stuff. And one of the things we did as a group, we went to see Clockwork Orange.
Was that a futuristic movie?
It was set in the future.
It was, yeah.
Especially when you were in 1975 or whatever, 76, whatever year I was in that class.
Oh, son of a gun. Well, that movie was not really for kids or young adults, I think.
Well, no,
wasn't
but
it rated X?
Well, at that time, maybe, yeah. But it basically fit the paradigm for what the class was, to talk about, could this happen in the future?
Right.
Do we think it'll, here's Stanley Kubrick's impression of what will happen.
Right.
Do we think, and then there was a lot of discussion and stuff, and a lot of snickering and giggling, and, but anyway.
There's one part in that movie that it still resonates in my head, where
the part where they hit him with a bat over the skull?
They're holding his eyes open.
At the end of the movie.
So, and
there's clamps.
Right, there's clamps that are holding his eyes open, and there's an individual, all he does is just put drops in his eyes.
Drops, right.
Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, that has got to be torturous. Just, that alone, it's got to be torturous.
Yes, my droogie droog. So let me throw this one out at you.
Okay.
This is kind of like would be like my Motor Mouth Radio person of the hour, my honor group of the hour.
Okay.
Why do people drive with stuff on the roofs of their cars or SUVs, like mattresses, picket fencing, sheets of plywood or sheetrock, with whether they have twine or straps, but there's always the one arm out the window holding it down? Do they really think that when that gust comes, that one arm out the window is going to hold this stuff down? Yeah. Do they really think that?
I can tell you. I can honestly give you an accurate answer for this question, for this rhetorical diatribe that you have going on.
Oh, this isn't rhetorical. This is absolutely. I saw this yesterday. We see it all the time. I mean, you've seen it.
Here's the reason why.
You've done it.
Oh, I've totally have done it. And yes, I can agree with you 100% that there's that individual that's got his hand, usually the hand out the window, holding the corner of the plywood, mattress, sheetrock, whatever it is. And the reason being is because if that thing gives way, you'll be the second guy to know.
Yeah.
Because if it gives way and it slides back, you're not going to know because you're clueless, right? Yeah. But if you got your hand on it, all of a sudden you don't have your hand on it, that means it's gone. So, no, you're not going to hold it back, but you do have a choice at that point in time. The second it disappears out of your grasp, you have a choice to either keep going or stop and go back and get it.
Interesting thought. I don't really think that's why people do it, but I think they really think that they can hold this thing down.
Hold it down.
I really do.
No, I'm not that guy. I'm holding it just so. I'm not holding it. I just got my hand on it. Just so that if I no longer have my hand on it, I got those two decisions to make, whether to keep going or to stop and go get it.
So that's my honor group of the...
That's funny.
I had to just think, oh, my word.
And you'll be able to hear more of the honor group coming up probably around 15 and the 45. It's usually when we do it. And it's usually thought of on my way over here. Don't think that there's any high, what would you say, right? There's no research focus group that's
no high level of thought.
None whatsoever. But then again, it just adds to this program. The no high level of thought. 516-572-7440 is the phone number. We're going to go back to the phones because that's the thing to do. We're going to say hi, you're on with the Motor Mouths.
Hello, Stephen. Hello, Professor Ray. Hello, guests. This is Howie.
Yeah, hi, guest.
How are you guys?
Ready.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
3, 2, 1. It's the big one. Big something. What's up, sunshine and lollipops? What positively fascinating thing do you have for us today?
How are you guys doing?
We're just, what? Chasing a dream and
crocheting.
Yeah, macrame.
Waiting for the show to start.
Right, because we're going to have to wait a little longer for the show to start now. But go ahead.
The generator's kicking in.
I want to say it's an exciting day here. We're going to hit close to 90. I'm here in West Bayshore at the Sagatows Manor, and in about 5 minutes going over to Kings Park for the Ford T-Bird show with Elliot and Darius. And guess what car I brought, gentlemen?
You probably brought some sort of Ford GM hybrid.
Well, you're wearing your T-Bird Club jacket.
I brought my 87 Nissan 300 CX that has good air conditioning.
Oh, that'll fit in just fine.
Yeah. You're going to blend right in with that one in those two shows.
I'm not going to be in the show. I'm just traveling here at this show, and I'm parked next to some caddies, some Daytonas. We got a 59 Chevy Impala. A big assortment, but, Christopher, I think you should be here. There are some Crosbys here for you.
What are you talking about?
Crosbys?
Crosbys.
Yeah, I was looking for Stills, Nash and Young, too.
Yes, I was looking for a couple of Bings.
The Bing, right? There you go. But you got cherries instead.
Well, that's fascinating, Howie.
Yes, and having a good day here, meeting some old friends.
Mm-hmm.
Some other friends are in Airport Plaza. They're cooking right now, and probably give them about 5 minutes more, and they're going to probably be leaving early.
Well, that's, once again, it's stimulating, and I'm very glad that you were able to report this, because now Ray and I can go to lunch, because no one else is listening.
Mobiles, Christopher. Definitely.
Who's Christopher?
I don't know.
Some of the hot rods to the 55 Chevys, 1970 RTs, to Cadillac Alante, to Chevy Impala. all different
Give us
shapes,
the plate
sizes,
numbers
and
of those
colors,
cars in case you want
and
to write them down.
all of them look good.
The VIN numbers too, because we want to just. I want to run them through and check.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, Howie, thank you so much for the evaluation. It's magnificent as usual. And we're going to get ready to start the show any minute, okay?
Yeah. Stay out of the sun.
All right, well, thanks for the compliments, Christopher. Professor Ray, everybody.
I don't know.
Keep cool and happy motoring. And
Yes, sir.
this is Howie, the big man from Motor Mouth Radio.
Over and out.
Over and out. We'll talk to you soon, Howie. Take care. Bye-bye. All right, Ray, we're not going to take a break.
We're going to start the show.
We're going to start the show all over again.
Good. Let's do that. We need to do that. Yes.
This is Motor Mouth Radio, your 1 hour automotive talk show right here on Long Island. I'm Chris Switzer, and of course, the man sitting behind the shop bench, that's Ray Guarino.
If you heard the last 10 minutes, erase that from your mind. We're starting fresh.
That's right. So this is going to be the one and only 50-minute radio talk show right here on Long Island.
What do you think?
There you go. Here it is. Start of the show. Start of Motor Mouth Radio. Ray, how was the week that was?
Oh, it was good. You know, I'll talk about something timely that just came up in that phone call. Talked about air conditioning.
Yeah.
And a couple of weeks ago, we had Bobby Elks on from AC Pro. And he sent out to some of our listeners some AC recharge kits.
Oh, great.
Well, it just so happened that I knew one of the guys. I actually knew all of them because they're listeners and some of them friends. Mm-hmm. And I went to see one of them yesterday to help with the installation of said kit.
Ooh.
And it ends up my Impala didn't have cold air this year. There was another. I hit it about 2 years ago. I had to hit it again.
Okay.
So the friend said, "Hey, listen, why don't you show me how to use this in your car?" I'm like, okay, good enough.
All right.
So what I wanted to do is I looked at it earlier in the week, and my compressor was cycling on and off. You know, on, off, on, off, on. So I know the pressures were moving, but I didn't know what the pressures were. I was looking for some trouble tree information. I ran up through Joe D, of course.
I'm assuming that the pressure was low, but there was still Freon in the system. It was just low.
Well, you could actually have too high of a pressure also, and it'll kick out. There's a high switch and a low switch.
All right.
So I didn't know, and Joe had the exact right information. He says, listen, you got to get a set of gauges on the thing and see the low and the high side pressure, and then you'll know what's going on.
Got it.
I said, excellent. I do not have R134A gauges. I have like 3 sets of R12 gauges.
Oh, what a good they'll do.
So luckily the friend had a set of gauges, and we put them on the car, and I saw that indeed the low pressure was low, and the high pressure, well, it was low also. Now, what I used this chart out of the factory service manual, or FSM as it'll be referred to.
Okay, I'm going to hold this up to the camera that we have playing on vaughnlive.tv/Motormouth Radio. You can find it. You can also find it on motormouthradio.com. We've been relying on this camera like you would not believe. So just
our web content has plummeted like Howie's phone calls have plummeted the show as well, because we don't put anything else on there anymore.
We really don't.
We
were all relying completely on that camera up there. But yeah, Ray doesn't bring in any demonstrations anymore. He used to demonstrate everything. Now he's on camera all the time. He doesn't demonstrate anything. Okay, so I'm looking at this chart. Yes.
Well, that's what you would look at. Again, you would look at you look at the temperature, the ambient temperature.
There's 5 different columns, and they're separated in relative humidity, ambient air temperature, max low side pressure, max high side pressure, and max right center air outlet temperature.
Mm-hmm.
Right center. Right
dashboard.
Right, so right center. Okay, air outlet temperature. So I guess if you're sitting in the car, that would be the right center.
The center, yeah. So anyway, what I did is I used that because I wanted to know what my parameters are. Mm-hmm. I knew what the temperature was. I found the humidity, and I went across the scale. Very easy. And my low temperature should have been anywhere from, I think, 25 to 49. And my high pressure should have been anywhere from 300 to 330.
Got it.
So I was seeing a low pressure of bouncing between 15 and 25, 15 and 20 with the cycling of the compressor.
Yeah, which according to this chart seems low.
And my high pressure should have been between 3 and 330, and it was 100.
Which is also low, yes.
So using that as the guide, I added the product until those pressures came up, and it says at the bottom there's a caveat they want the car at 2,000 RPM because they want the stuff cycling and suctioning and changing from liquid to gas back and forth at the right rate. And I used the receiver dryer my gauge because I put the back of my hand on it and feel it was warm in the beginning. Then it got cooler and cooler, and finally it started getting cold. Okay. And then I went and looked at the the gauge at the dash, and finally got the AC to work. But the whole point of this is the AC Pro worked very well, and you could put it in. There's a scale on there that just shows you the low pressure, and you could set it. You set a dial for temperature and humidity.
The scale on the product, the dial on the
AC
bottle
Pro
itself
can. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't give you the high side temperature. Mm-hmm. So this was just a little more. I want a little more information, and this is where this came from. That's why I use that. And there you go. The product worked as well. But the other thing I found out, you could use just the can and use their gauge, and it would work fine. We'll go to the next step. But I'm looking at the gauges and said, hey, these look like probably Harbor Freight gauges. And he says, yeah, they are. It was like they're $50. So I said, why the hell couldn't you just convert a set of R12? He says, well, I had to get these gauge adapters that are adapters with a clip-on, like a Schrader type air compressor fitting end on it, and that's what actually clamps onto the R134. See, the R12's screwed on, so again, you couldn't use them. So he said the gauge adapters he bought took the hoses on his 134 gauges that had threaded ends. You thread it onto the adapter, now you can click it onto the hose. And I said, why can't I use those on my R12 gauges? He says, you probably can. So
pressure is pressure, right?
So I'm going to go out and buy, and you're not contaminating the system because the pressure's coming out. It's not going in.
Okay.
So I'm going to go get a set of those gauge adapters and put them on my R12 gauges.
Where would you end up finding those gauge adapters to purchase?
Well, right at Harbor Freight, next to the gauges, they sold the gauge adapters.
Oh, okay,
sure.
Good. Sure. Knowing Harbor Freight, there's some things they have and some things they don't have.
And this guy had bought them there, so I know. And I'm sure you can get them in other places as well.
Uh-huh.
So that was the AC story for the weekend. Everything worked well, and we're back to coolness.
516-572-7440. There's a phone number, and we're going to take a little break right here at Motormouth Radio. I know we're only 5 minutes into the show, but we're going to take a break anyway. That's Ray Guarino. I'm Chris Switzer. Of course, the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour. We're on a roll here, gang. If you're going shopping for a vehicle just to take advantage of the air conditioning in the dealership, you're part of the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour. All you're doing is looking for a car just to sit in the dealership. You don't want to even test drive, right? No, not even a test drive. I'll just stay in the dealership.
You know what? Better go to the mall and look at the car on display in the mall. It's cool in there, too, and you can get some lunch.
Even better. So if you're shopping for cars just to take advantage of the air conditioning, you're part of the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour. So keep it where you got it. Got a lot more of this mitzvah coming up in a bit.
The Motormouths will be right back with your car questions. Give us a call at 516-572-7440.
Hi, this is Butch Patrick, and you're listening to the Motormouth Radio, just like me.
Alrighty, welcome back to Motormouth Radio. We are taking those calls, 516-572-7440. Here's your phone number. Ray Guarino behind the shop bench. I'm Chris Switzer on this beautiful, balmy day. That's right. It's a cool six-pack of automotive knowledge. Icy cold in the sun. We're Motormouth Radio for you. 516-572-7440. Talking about air conditioning. Still wondering about that age-old theory that when you're on the road, what is better for fuel efficiency, to run your air conditioning or to keep all the windows open? And what do you think? I need to know from the source.
Well, I believe in the Mythbusters method because they tested it.
How'd they test it?
On a track with cars, and they ran cars with a metered amount of fuel in them, a known amount of fuel, and they ran them at a known speed or known speeds. They did a number of speeds, and they did it with windows open. They did it with windows closed with the air conditioning.
What did they prove?
That under 60 miles an hour, windows open, it really doesn't make a difference. Over 60, windows closed, use the air conditioning.
Oh, okay.
So if you're on the highway for a while, use the AC.
And the reason why is because with those windows down, you are a lot less aerodynamic, right? Because you're now creating turbulence within the car, turbulence.
The air doesn't pass over the sides of the car as smoothly.
Which can hold you back.
Right.
Or put more of a load on the engine as far as the air conditioning. You obviously have the windows closed. Now, if you drove with the windows open and the air conditioning on,
windows open and air conditioning on, you'd be somewhat cooler, but using more gas. Yeah, that would be the wrong thing to do.
So there really is. So there's the speed limit, I would assume.
Look, I know I'll back on this. You want to live in 1967 or 1972 and drive in this humidity and heat with the windows open like you're in Pop's station wagon going to, burger scoop for some fries and something. Some people enjoy that. I mean, I drove here with the windows open today. Yeah, burger scoop, whatever. I'm not going to, I don't know where you went when you were a kid. God only knows. But, to me, that's a memory of being a kid, driving in a car with the windows open in the summer. Right. We didn't have AC in the cars. We didn't have it in the house. We didn't have it in the cars either. No. We didn't even have a car. I had to ride in neighbors' cars. But, so for me, it kind of evokes a fond memory of being a kid. Okay. And I don't use my AC as much as you think I do. Cause I got this, we all have our weird little frugalities and things. And
you?
Yeah, we all
weird
do.
Little frugality? You?
Yeah, like coming here twice a week? Yeah, and one of them is I can't see doing a lot of shorter trips and shorter hops with the AC on. Plus, I don't like getting out of I like being in a cool car, but I don't like getting out into the heat and then having to get back into a hot car. That change of temperature drives me crazy. So I'll tough it out and deal with the heat until I get home, and then I'll sit in a cool room.
I, for one, am shocked.
I said you would be. I was right.
This longtime radio colleague here is shocked.
Yeah. Now, if I'm on the road for a while, yes, I'll use the AC and be cool.
I'm figuring every ounce or any sort of advantage being taken to sit in air conditioning you would take.
No, I don't. As I said, that's what I knew it would surprise you.
Yes.
There you go.
Because you know how I drove all the way here?
Nope.
The windows were cracked open, I would say, about maybe 2 inches, all 4 of them.
Jeez.
That was it.
Wow.
That was it. Yeah?
Yeah, I had mine open. Fully open. Yeah.
No, just a little bit. Just enough to be
And I
aggravated.
saw the car full of people in a convertible convertible Mini going down to the beach. I was like, you're baking right now. Put the top up, man.
I love that.
No, my convertible, nighttime. That's when I want to go out. Early morning or at night is when, in this weather.
In the middle of the sun, you're just feeling it hitting you. It's just
actually,
great.
I will say, though, if I'm doing short trips, short hops, I would have the top up. But if I was going to get on the highway and go out, like the trip I have to make today, I would consider having the top down, because I'm going to be on the road steady state, and if I have a good reason to believe I'm not going to go like places you go, so there won't be traffic, and I can keep that pace going, I will drive with the top down.
You will.
But if I know I'm going to, like if I was going west, no, forget about it. It ain't happening.
But you would drive with the top up and the windows down? Because your convertible doesn't have air conditioning.
It actually does have air conditioning in it.
But it's not working.
But it does have it.
It is equipped with it.
Yeah, it is. It was, but it's not working. Yeah, top up, I have windows down, of course. You got to get some air.
And of course, it's not to the point where you can just put in a bottle of AC Pro in it.
No, it was an R12 system. Mm-hmm. So I have to convert. And actually, that system that Bronk talked about a couple of weeks ago, another friend of ours used a very similar product.
Which was what again? What was it?
I don't remember. Easy Chill. I don't know. It was some pitchy name.
Please go back last week. I think it was last Sunday.
I don't know.
Bronk had called and was talking about some sort of AC product. Finds it on the download page. But
somebody else used a very similar product that I know and said that, they didn't do any O-ring changes or anything, and they had the same results where it worked. My buddy John, Honda John, he did his Honda. And he said, that car is now going on 3 years with cold AC.
Wow.
So maybe there is something to that stuff. I didn't think so, but.
I don't know if we have a phone call. We're going to find out. Let's see. Nope, we didn't. 516-572-7440 is the phone number. Please give us a call if you have a question, anything dynamic and highly educational that you can ask us. Test the wrinkles in our brain. 516-572-7440.
Yeah, I've often thought about getting the AC working in the Fiat again, because you'd need so little of it to cool you off. I mean, it's a 2-seater sports car.
Right.
Literally, you could put an ice cube over a fan and you could probably be cool in that car.
Which is the air conditioning system in my Triumph.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just fill it with ice every once in a while.
Sure.
So.
Any work on the car this week? Have you done anything with the car?
No, I haven't touched it. I have not touched it at all. I'm still looking forward to my danger drive. I have not even taken that into consideration. I feel so ashamed.
Yeah.
I really do. Let's go to the phones. Back to the fun. How you on with the Motor Mouths?
Hey, Gary from Freeport calling.
What's up, Gary? How are you, brother?
How you doing today?
We're keeping out of trouble.
Oh.
How are you doing today?
Of course you have to.
Yes. So you have the.
What about the vent windows?
Let's try this, Gary. First, lower the radio.
No. Whatever happened to vent windows?
He said no.
He said no.
He did say no.
So we're going to be
talking the radio. We're not talking to you.
Yeah,
how's that?
Because we're talking over ourselves. There's a delay.
Okay. I apologize in that regard.
Yes. You hear Ray?
Yeah, I heard myself twice.
No.
On this end, it's pretty disheartening and annoying.
Nothing personal.
No, I know.
No,
nothing personal on this end either.
Yeah, just need. Unless you want to make it loud, and we can have a lot of feedback and all kinds of crazy noises.
Oh, God,
and blow up some.
They'll have to start.
Time delay.
Right.
Don't have to have Videgard DeVita films going on with swirling dervishes on the wall.
Whatever happened to vent windows?
Gary, the radio's still up.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
I apologize. Give me a moment.
I'm going to play music.
Yeah, there you go. Let's sing. Sing a little bit. No, don't sing. No.
Videgard DeVita, baby.
Not bad, not bad.
Hey, thank you. Okay, hey, Gary, how are you?
No, the thing was, years ago.
Vent windows.
Vent windows.
Had the vent window.
Yeah, well, you know why they don't have vent windows in cars?
In the car.
You know why they don't have them in cars anymore?
You got a freaking hot butt and you freaking...
Chris, why don't they have them in cars anymore?
Hey, Ray, I'll tell you why. Please.
It made a difference regarding...
Because I'm actually curious about that.
It's all down to cost.
I would believe that. There's a lot of mechanics in a vent window.
It was really cool. If you had a car that had 8
was cool, not cost?
Then,
yeah.
You were it.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, Gary. 2 of the cars I'm currently driving do have vent windows, and I love them.
Don't put the AC on when the roof is going up.
What? Well, give me that again. What are you going to do? You're going to put the AC on when the roof is going up?
No, you don't want to do that.
Why not?
Well, I'll take the roof off. Especially when you're driving.
So you need like a hacksaw blade to take a roof off your sedan?
Hacksaw blade, nothing. You need a freaking couple of cinder blocks on top of the roof to keep the freaking hood down.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you so much. We have to get you back into the air conditioning right about now.
It's just being silly.
No, and it's working.
Okay, good for you.
Thanks so much, Gary. We'll talk to you soon.
Hey, don't forget, today's National Ice Cream Day.
Yes, it is. The hair fall for Carvel.
For it.
You betcha. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Take care.
So long.
516-572-7440. The heat is getting to us all.
Hey, I got spotted the other night. I was at Belmore again, cruise night, and I was wearing my Arthur Gould Rebuilders T-shirt and got spotted. So people do know the good folks at Arthur Gould.
Very
cool. They had very good things to say about it.
Let's go back to the phones, back to the fun. You're on with the Motor Mouths.
Hey, guess who? I am watching your ugly mugs as we speak right now and say hi to Rob. I just saw him walk in the door.
Yeah, there he is. Rob Leonard is in with us as well.
Oh, I'm waving back. He's still as ugly as ever.
It's the Bronx. What's up, Bubba?
Hey, just watching, listening about that, and I see Ray went and did some research on that AC we were talking about.
Yeah. What was the stuff that you had put in your Zimmer?
The stuff I had was Easy Chill. That's what I think he was trying to remember before. And that was sold at O'Reilly's Auto Parts. Because originally when I found out about this stuff, I heard it through Into Dynamics.
Okay.
And they put a video on. Excuse me, I got a little bit of a cold. They have a video on ask.com. It's a website, ask.com.
Right.
And if you want to get more research, there's a lot of information about it. You just put in R12 to R134 conversion, and there's a web of information, a whole arsenal of information about what's involved, the chemicals, how to do it, the problems that they didn't have, and that's the part I like the most. Because you find out a lot of times say, well, we got this problem, how long it's going to last, what kind of failures that may occur as a result of the change with the new chemical synthetics in it. But I couldn't find any negative comments about the conversion system.
Really?
Yeah, so if you want to do more research on it, the best company I found so far that gave the most amount of information, like I said before, is Into Dynamics. Right? And you'll see that on the website there.
And the product was called Easy Chill.
Yeah, that was the one that they had, which is identical. The difference between what I found on the Into Dynamics is that they gave you 3 cans. One was the oil, one was the sealant, one was the refrigerant. The Easy Chill, it was all incorporated into 1 can.
Right, like the AC Pro.
Right, so that made it somewhat easier to do it instead of being extremely cautious about monitoring the pressures and how much pressure you're going to put in.
Right.
Right, this here was a very simple formula. It was 85% of what your normal capacity is, and then you just set the gauge, pull the little trigger, and when you get to it, you run your engine, throw the AC on, throw your fan speed on high, and just run it till you come up to the pressure that you're looking for.
Excellent.
Okay?
Very cool.
So I got mine in about a month, and it's still blowing ice cold with no telltale signs, no noise in the compressor. That was the first thing I kind of figured. You know, with the different refrigerant, the different type of oil, it may cause some kind of problems in the compressor.
Right.
I haven't found anything yet. Car runs smooth and quiet.
Yeah, Ray said one of his longtime friends has had this in his system for over 3 years, and it's still blowing ice cold.
Yeah, Yeah, so it's supposed to be pretty good, and it's a cheap refill. After you buy the adapter handle, the conversion kit, now you can buy the fittings in any auto parts store. I think the fittings run about $12.
Right.
All right, for the high and low pressure side, and like Ray said, it's just a simple screw on, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. No rocket science involved on this.
See,
any housewife could do it.
I'm a little concerned that if you have a leak, that means that there's atmospheric pressure actually getting into the system because, leak works both ways here. Yeah. And I'm wondering if that affects the performance of the air conditioning system at all because of that.
Oh, with a leak, like anything else, eventually you're going to lose pressure in the system.
Yeah, but you're going to get humidity in the system.
Yeah, what happens, Chris, is a receiver dryer will
remove the humidity from the system.
It'll take as much as it can, and then the thing is useless. You have to. That's why a lot of times they say if the system is down to change the receiver dryer.
Got it.
And the orifice tube if the car is equipped with one.
Right, and if you find that you do have a leak in the system, you go back to the old days, put the fluorescent oil in there, look for the leak, and replace whatever component.
Got it.
And what I understand that, don't hold me to true, if you do have to replace a component, you put in an existing R12 component in, not one that's compatible with 134. So you keep the system pure factory stock, OEM, and then you go with your conversion. So that much I read a little bit about, but I didn't get a lot of information about it. So if the question comes up, well, I got to change the dryer, I got to change this, I got to change that, stick with the original part that the car came with, and then do your conversion with that.
Got it. Very good.
Right, so that's just a little bit of tidbit there. So if you're taking an old system. In fact, tomorrow I was talking to a buddy of mine. I was at the museum yesterday, and he has a 1958 Studebaker with factory air conditioning.
Oh,
you want to talk about an antiquated system. You got to see some of these things. Really weird.
Uh-huh.
So we were talking about it. So tomorrow I'm going to try to get an 800 number for Interdynamics and find out if the 50s AC system are compatible with this conversion system. So I'm going to do a little more research on that.
Sounds like fun.
That takes.
Yeah. All righty, my brother.
It's something. It'd be something.
Yes, and we're very impressed
now I'm
with
going to get dirty, greasy again. I'm working on a 65 Ranchero, rebuilding the whole brake system. Hoses, lines, cylinders. It's never been apart. It's an original 1965, but the brakes have never been off the car.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's what I said. But the good thing out here is nothing rust.
Right, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, they come apart easy.
Very cool,
that's
my
my
brother.
fun for the day.
Well, we'll wish you a lot of luck. Hope it works out very well, and keep us posted on the latest developments.
Okay, and I'm sending you tonight Bronx Pick. We're doing a 1912 Rambler, the car that they used in Titanic, the movie.
Holy
so
smokes,
it should be an interesting car to take a peek at and take a look at with some good information.
All righty, we're looking forward to it.
Sounds great, guys. Well, listen, have a great week and don't suffer with the humidity and the bugs.
Thanks, Bronk. And don't get any scorpions or rattlesnakes where you don't want them.
Exactly. Have fun. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks. We'll talk soon. Be good. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
516-572-7440 is the phone number to get a hold of us right here.
This, Chris.
What?
I just pulled up into Dynamics to get the number for Bronk, and what comes up? AC Pro. They're the distributors.
This could be the same product. We don't know.
Yes.
You can also catch us on Performance Motorsports Network here at Motormouth Radio. You can catch us on iHeartRadio. You can watch us, and you can see Rob Leonard in the studio. Rob Leonard is here with us in the studio at VaughnLive.tv/Motormouth Radio. Yes, you can call, and you can even talk to Rob. Ray Guarino, I'm Chris Switzer. This is Motormouth Radio, icy cool in the sun.
Let the Motormouths help you with all of your car questions at 516-572-7440.
All righty, welcome back to Motormouth Radio. We're taking those calls, 516-572-7440. Back to the phones, back to the fun. Hi, you're on with the Motormouths.
Hey, Chris and Ray, it's Dan.
Hey, Dan, what's going on?
All right. Ray, I kind of disagree with you on one thing. I tell you, with top, let me tell you, nothing beats that top down. I tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Top down, I tell you, with the Jeep, the doors off, I tell you, it's the best.
I usually like having the doors on. In fact, Morrison Hotel is one of my favorite albums, but I digress. No, Dan, Hey, this is America, so I pick and choose when to use it. So there's certain times I will really, really enjoy having the top down, and other times, not so much.
See, Dan, I'm with you. The top is you got to put the top down. And the funny thing is, you ever notice, Dan, a lot of people put the top down, but they leave the windows up. And that's no good. We don't do that. Windows come down when the top comes down. I don't get this windows up jazz at all. It just doesn't make sense to me.
You know, and it's funny. You mentioned with the vent windows and they discontinued them. I thought it was because that was the first thing they broke when they went to stereo radio.
Well, that's true too. Yeah, they're always broken. Yeah,
it's amazing. But you know what? On these vents, I remember I had a '57 Camaro, and I tell you, the vent was on the bottom by the kick panel. You know,
the floor vents
on the Camaro, '57 Camaro, and it was a floor vent, and I had a little lever that would pull up, and I'm telling you, it was the best thing that I think best part of that car. It was unbelievable.
It was a lot of fresh air in, right?
It came in through the fender,
it was low, and the way it was set up, it would come in, I guess, through the towel, and I tell you, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And it was just a simple little lever. You would just have, each side had it. And you would pull it off.
In the A-body, in my Pontiac, and like the Chevelles and Buicks, it's a cable that you pull, and now I lost those in my car because all the AC stuff went out the spot where the one vent was, so I just took the other one out too. Just remove it.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But I tell you, that thing with the conversion with I tell you, it's pretty interesting. I have on that Volvo, it has air conditioning, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell you, I like to find out about it, you know. Please. You know.
Well, yeah, but I think that the air conditioning in the Volvo is 50 years old. So I don't know.
Right. But how do you start? I mean, I assume that let's say there's no Freon in it. I mean.
I would put a vacuum on it. I would vacuum the system down just to get out any particulate and anything that looks flaky. I mean, now's the time to change any hoses or components that look bad because you're going to put high pressure in these things.
Right.
So, a good look over the system first, change what's needed, and then do the conversion.
Yeah.
I think
definitely. I looked at it and see, but I tell you, that would be pretty neat. You know?
Oh yeah, to have a car that old because it's a '65, right? The
65,
Volvo?
yeah. The air conditioning, I think, was set up by the dealer at that time.
Probably dealer.
That's how my Fiat was done. It was a dealer installed.
So it was one that was set up, I guess, by the dealer, but it's all original. Everything's there, you know.
Yeah. That's awesome.
He even had the original AM radio that was in the car.
AM? Who listens to that anymore?
Yeah, I know. But you know what? I'm going to leave it, though.
No, I think it's a good idea. Definitely a good idea.
Leave it all stopped. I don't like to change it.
Yeah, you can listen to all talk radio and sports.
You get WME.
All right, guys. Enjoy the day.
Thanks, Dan. You too. Be safe. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
And get that air conditioning running. Bye-bye.
Definitely.
516-572-7440. There's your phone number. It's that's actually very cool. If Dan can do that and get the AC running in that Volvo, because you know how I like stuff like that. That's stuff that's obscure, and there's obscure things in an obscure vehicle.
Oh yeah.
And to actually get it to work.
I look at the AC that's in my Fiat. It was dealer installed, and man, I would have installed it a little differently. Because you get guys putting this stuff in at a dealership.
Right.
It's not factory installed, so it's not always done the way that you might like it done.
Or like the factory would like it done.
No.
Back to the phones. Back to the fun. How you on with the motor mouths?
How you doing? Good morning or good afternoon, actually. I was wondering if I could ask a couple of questions to the boys about I have a 1996 Honda Odyssey, and I wanted their opinion was to worth putting more money into it because it's got a lot of mileage on it.
Well, who are you? Where you calling from?
Lindbergh.
And your name is?
Joe.
Joe, how are you?
How you doing?
Have you ever called the show before?
Never.
Ah, okay.
Nice, new caller.
Yeah, how'd you find us?
I heard you on the radio before. I've heard you guys a couple of times, and then, I always want to speak to you guys about mechanic stuff because it's just, I can't get a straight opinion from a regular mechanic. And they just keep on brushing me off because the car's so old and nobody wants to work on it anymore. And then anybody who wants to work on it wants to charge thousands of dollars for it back together again. I'm looking for some shortcuts to try to see if there's any way I can save this car. Let it run a little further, I love the car. She's got a lot of fight in her. And, she's a warrior.
Yeah, I believe it. What's the mileage on it? It's a 97 Honda Odyssey. What's the mileage on it?
It's 96 Honda Odyssey.
96 Honda Odyssey. What's the mileage?
It's over 200,000. I didn't know the speedometer broke. When I got the car for free from my friend, it had 192,000. and it's stuck like at 193, and I've had it for 3 years, so I really don't know anymore.
Wow. So what's the major issue with the car, Joe, that's making you decide?
Well, the major issue is it's leaking the oil from everywhere. They call it the Exxon Valdez. They make fun of me. Oh, the guy at Chase Collision Ronnie and his partner, they drive me crazy every time I see it. They start yelling Exxon Valdez because it leaks oil. It's got a rack and pinion problem, and it probably springs and shocks all the way around, or just struts, whatever it is. And it's got it's got an oil leak in the oil pan somewhere. I think the oil pan gas is leaking. But it gets you to take down the whole emission system. It's a real chop buster.
Did you say that it needs a rack and struts?
I need front and back struts, probably.
Okay, I got your answer.
What?
It's not worth fixing.
I like your answer.
Okay.
I know she's not worth fixing, but I love her. She's a warrior.
I just did some quick calculations. It's going to cost you, close to $2,000. And if you said evap problems, forget about it. Forget about it. Yeah, just the time to diagnose an evap problem on a car like that,
Now, just to take the other side, Joe, Ray has a point. Yeah, it's definitely going to cost more than the value of the vehicle to repair it. That's a given. But it's like you say, if you love it, the cheapest car you can possibly have is the car you already have.
Except in this case.
Was there anything I could do, like, to rig it so it won't leak so bad? Or
oatmeal.
Anything you think of, you guys, that I can keep you rolling?
Okay, here's what you do. If you want to put the car into, like, what we call laboratory mode, where you basically go and buy whatever sort of product off the shelf and dump it in there and not really, just basically evaluate the performance of that off-the-shelf mechanic in a can, by all means, go right ahead. That's fine.
This is the time to do that. Yeah.
Right, yeah, because if you, to get rid of an oil leak, they have that motor honey, they have that, what is that?
That works more on oil burning than leaking.
But they have those products. The funny thing is, we really don't look at them on the shelves. But they do have products that claim that they will repair the oil leak simply by adding it into the crankcase.
So does sawdust.
Yeah, so does sawdust. So does, like Ray says, like oatmeal. But now's the time to experiment to see. Because it's not going to stop any pistons or anything. It's not going to destroy the engine in any way. What it will do, it'll either work where it stopped the leak, or it won't work.
Clog the oil passages and seize the engine.
Right. Well, that too. Eventually, use enough of the stuff.
The funny thing is, my friend fixed the air conditioner. He's a street mechanic. His name is Matty. He's from Malvern, and he loves the car. He just tells me all the time, he says, she's just like you. She's a worry. She won't die.
Yeah, well, beautiful. Sell it to him.
He won't work on her anymore.
That's why sell it to him.
He's afraid.
Yeah. So, as far as engine leaks, we can recommend that, and we say the word loosely recommend, but when it comes down to a strut issue or a rack issue, that's safety. That's a different story. Because if you're getting like a vibration in the rack, or it's not turning smoothly, or you have to really yank on the wheel like it has no power steering, that's a problem. And that's really something that I wouldn't want to be driving next to you on a highway.
The rack could be bad. It could be leaking. And that can be part of your oil leaks.
Mm-hmm.
She's not, she's not, having any problem whatsoever.
Okay.
She's got a leak in there, but she's not, at that point. But everybody says she has to have some change eventually. And
right.
just, I want to, deduct what I can do, what I can't do, and try to get it done as minimal cost as possible. Like you guys say, it's not worth putting any money into.
Well, our good friend Joe Deej is communicating with me here. He said that, he's taken, again, an optimistic approach, saying some of the oil leaks could be easily fixed, like a PCV valve, valve cover gaskets, things like that. But it has to be evaluated by somebody who, who knows what they're looking at. And he's right. Some of the stuff is cheap to fix. I'm thinking you got probably a rusty oil pan.
Right.
You never know. Some of the stuff could be bad. Some of it could be not so bad.
But a leak really isn't a safety issue as much as a performance or binding in the rack or anything like that. You don't want to deal with a problem like that. If it's leaking.
Okay. I'll take your advice, Heath. I wish you guys could see the car because she's a little son of a gun.
I'm sure she is. And
she won't give up. And my brother always makes fun of me. He goes, that piece of junk can't get out the snow. And once I was caught in the snow with one wheel, and all of a sudden the second wheel started pumping out. I said, what the heck is that? He goes, she has a differential in the front.
Well, you know what? Next time I see Ronnie, I'll ask him myself about that car because I know he'll give me the straight scoop.
And when you ask Ronnie to change, you ask, he'll crack you up. He changed all the
You're doing that now, Joe.
Joe, remember, don't let anybody fool you, con you into saying Exxon Valdez. You tell them the car's marking its territory. You let them know that.
You guys crack me up. You're the best. You have a good afternoon, boys.
Thanks, Joe. We'll talk soon.
You.
Be safe. Bye-bye.
Hello, you crack me up.
516-572-7440 is the phone number to get a hold of us. So if you see any smoking odysseys, just kind of stay clear of them. Ray Guarino, I'm Chris Switzer, the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour. If you're going shopping for a car just to take advantage of the air conditioning in the dealership, that's right, if you're going over to buy something French or something Swedish, because there's no one in the dealership, it's nice and cold.
You're going to IKEA. That's another good place to go. You get those cinnamon buns.
All right, so if you try to get out of the heat by attempting to go shopping for a car, you're part of the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour. Ray Guarino, I'm Chris Switzer. This is Motormouth Radio. Please keep it where you got it. Why? Because we're icy cool in the sun.
Have a question about your car or someone else's car? Then give the Motormouths a call, 516-572-7440.
Yes, we're going to label this program Crazy from the Heat.
Crazy from something.
Call us, 516-572-7440. That's the phone number.
As we, usually we talk about this later in the show, but I need a break from into reality now.
Okay.
I got a hold of one of our past guests. He was on the show last December, Mr. Mark Warman from Graveyard Cars.
Yes.
Because I noticed they had some changes to the show that's due to be released in the fall. And reached out to him to see if we can get it back on. And he will come back on as a guest.
Wait, did Mark notice changes in our show, or did you notice changes in Mark's show?
No, I noticed changes in their show.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
It's on their website. They had a couple of personnel changes.
So we're bringing Mark back on.
Yeah, I called the number that I had for him.
Uh-huh.
The shop number, which went to voicemail, and said the voicemail box was full.
Of course.
So I'm like, okay, maybe he's getting a lot of fans calling.
No, maybe he knew you were calling.
And I have his cell phone number, but I don't like to call guys on the cell phone if I'm not more intimately intimate with them, if you will. I mean, some people don't care. They got the number, they call it. I'm a little different.
Who are you, Hunts Hall there? What's that?
Yeah.
Who are you, Leo Gorsi?
You want a shake? You want a sundae? What do you want? Yeah. So I emailed him, and he got back to me and said, yeah, I'll come to your show. You guys were a lot of fun. So we should be, I haven't booked it yet, but we will have Mark Warman back on the show.
Awesome. That is definitely something to look forward to.
Yes.
And also, let's look forward to this next call. Say hi, you're on with the Motormouths.
Hey, how you doing?
Who's this?
My name's Ken.
Hey, Ken, what's going on?
From Levittown.
Hi.
I'm not a Ford guy, but I just came out of a place on 106 called the Trading Post, and they had a set of 4 Ford hubcaps there, and primo shape that said Ford on each side, and it came to a point.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just wondering if any of your listeners want a set of nice hubcaps to go over there.
Oh, okay. I thought you bought them.
Yeah, I was going to say.
No, I didn't buy them. I'm not a Ford guy, but I just want to pass this information on to whoever might be listening.
Can you pretty much give us like an identification of the year? Were they 40s, 50s, 60s hubcaps?
I would say probably 50s.
Wow.
They look like 14-inch.
Okay.
All right.
Well, you've just passed it right along, and we thank you so much for it.
No problem.
Ken, what is it that you do drive?
I got a 55 Chevy.
Nice.
Yes.
Man after my own heart.
There you go.
How's the car set up?
Putting it together. I got a 327 in it, and I got a 400 turbo in it, a 373 Posse.
Nice street car.
And I'm up to putting the nose on it. I got it years ago from some guy in Brooklyn for like $200.
Yeah.
That was sort of time to buy the cars.
Sure. No. Is the body all original lines roll, or is it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
It's pretty solid.
What are you doing for interior in the car?
I'm not up to that yet. I'm just trying to get it on the road.
In your mind's eye, what are you going to go stock? Are you going to go with, do you have an idea or no?
No, probably not stock.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
You're a man after my own heart. And what wheels are you going to put on it?
Well, I like stock wheels on there now.
Right.
So
but
that's
later,
going to keep me on the road, and I'll be happy with that until I can find something else. Maybe American Racing or something.
Excellent choice.
Yeah.
I'm liking it. I'm liking it more and more already. When it's all done, what color do you plan on painting the car? Or do you?
I'm not sure yet. Either a red and a white for a black and a Harley orange.
That's yeah. I just saw a truck down at Belmore that was done in the Harley colors. It looked fantastic. But yeah,
I know, the black and the orange look great.
But if you do like indigo red and or Matador red and indigo and Matador red and indigo ivory. That's the colors the Nomad wore, Chris. The original colors of the Nomad. And that's always a great look for a 55.
Yeah.
You can leave the front bumper off, I hope.
The front bumper's all rusty right now, and if
later,
put a bumper on it, I'll re-chrome it or whatever.
New chrome sucks. Leave it off. 55s look perfect. They were made to be run without front bumpers.
Yeah, right.
Yes, they definitely do. That's the look, man.
Ken,
that is the look.
You got Ray going here. You got him going. Well, thank you so much, man. That's awesome. Hey, how long have you been listening to the show, Ken?
About a couple of months now.
Yeah, how'd you stumble on us?
Oh, I listen to you radio station all the time. I like the music they play, and then right after the music comes you guys, so I listen to you guys too, you know.
Excellent. Well, listen, don't be a stranger.
I'm a motorhead myself, you know.
Yeah, well, that's obvious. Don't be a stranger. You want to talk about that 55 project? You have some you have a friend here at least.
Yes.
I don't say friends. You have a friend.
That's great, because I can always use some advice.
You feel free to call, and you can email us, too. There's an email address on the website, motormouthradio.com. And you can get in touch with us a number of ways, and we'll be happy to help you out, Ken.
Terrific. Thank you so much.
All righty.
Thanks, Ken. We'll talk soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Another 55 Chevy owner guy. Beautiful.
516-572-7440. Hey, guess who stumbled into the studio once again? You want some mic time there, Robbie?
I want to be on the camera here.
You want to just get on the camera?
I love the camera. Hi, camera.
Yes, and the camera loves you.
Yes, I have a question for you guys. You don't have to answer it this week.
No, we don't.
But
you can ask us next week if you'd like.
Okay.
No, come on.
If you had to pick a car to redo,
right?
Not a favorite of yours, but something that would be available, a lot of parts, and it would be something different. Like I saw last week, I saw a Pinto redone.
A Pinto?
And I had no reason why anyone would want to redo a Pinto.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Norm Baggy.
Yeah, Norm. That's right.
First of all, I was shocked to see a Pinto. That was the first
Yeah,
one.
A lot of them all disappeared all at once.
What car would you like to redo?
That's not common.
That's not common.
It's not a common vehicle. Well, that's
define common.
Yeah, that's
Pinto's common.
Right.
Not anymore.
No, but people know about it. It's not like saying
that's a good point.
Nobody in this room said, "Gee, Rob, what was that kind of car you were talking about?" We don't, because you know what it is. It's common. They were all over the place.
Pintos were more famous for maybe blowing up. Whether they did or not, I don't know.
That's why
I never saw one blow up.
No. So it's
just something because when I think of cars, I think of Motor Mouth Radio.
Wow, frightening.
Well, it's true.
Well, when you're talking about common, you mean things like a Camaro, a Mustang.
Yeah.
Maybe a Challenger, a Cuda.
That's mainstream.
Yeah, that would be mainstream. So you're looking at something a little different, like maybe something that's incredibly old, or something that's not maybe General Motors, Ford, or Chrysler product.
Well, no, like we'll use his explanation of a Pinto. That's not incredibly old. It's not a car that was considered a performance car, like a Vega was not, or a Chevette was not. But people restore those all the time. They build those cars all the time.
Vega too?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Wow. Sure. But they basically don't use any of the stock.
Well, they usually put like a 350 Chevy in it.
Yeah, they usually
do it right.
It's the ultimate huge engine in a very small car sort of format.
So they change it all around then.
Right.
It's not a true Vega.
No.
I guess thankfully.
Yeah. No, it's basically a professional chassis with hopefully a roll bar with a big engine and just like the Vega skin around it. That's the body parts around
I saw a guy at one of the cruise nights with a stock Vega with the 4-cylinder, the 4-banger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is
it wasn't a Cosworth?
No. No, it wasn't.
Moly.
It was, yeah. Go figure.
I think
what's a Cosworth?
Cosworth Vega it was a high-tech head that was mounted onto the 4-cylinder engine, and it was developed by a company called Cosworth. It was actually a man's last name.
It was a man's name, right?
Think of his first
they did
name.
a lot of stuff in racing.
Yeah, and they developed a high-tech head for more performance in the car, and they called them Cosworth Vegas, and they were basically painted either white or black with gold trim, and those are the most, if you want to say, the most valuable stock Vegas you can find.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the only one that was collectible.
Yeah, right, because the rest of them certainly weren't. And they were actually later models, 76 and 77. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just like I said,
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know what uncommon car I would like to restore, other than something British. I really can't think of anything that's uncommon that I personally would like to restore. So I don't know.
Just
You're stumping the band once again.
Well, I like I said, when I think of cars, I think of Motor Mouth Radio. So.
Well, thank you, Robbie.
That better be in the promo.
It will be. Rob Leonard's, ladies and gentlemen, star of stage and screen, as always, and Ken's favorite DJ, from what we've heard.
Apparently so, yeah.
A little bit of time, 516-572-7440. So what else is going on the week, Ray?
Just stuff, doing stuff, still working on the shed.
But are you working on the shed too? I know you work at the Nomad. Is the shed?
Nope. I actually put stuff in that shed. Apart from Bill Wondolowski, I happen to have a 724 Chrysler rear section. It's center chunk. They called it a 724 because it was the last three numbers of the identifier number.
Oh.
And it was from it was made in 61 to 69. A, B, and C body Chryslers.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 323 ring and gear ratio.
And you acquired this? Why?
It was sitting in my shed on top of the LT1 engine. I have it. I got it years ago from somebody. I think I probably had it when I had the Challenger. I also have the drum-to-drum rear for the Challenger. That's also a 323 rear, but probably not a 724 because that was an E body, not a BC or D body.
So are these things going to go away anytime soon?
Yeah, the ham is going to Bill. He's interested in it, so he's going to get it.
Good.
He's getting it, but I had to go into the Nomad to get it out of the way. So it's stuffed in there. And Joe did just text me, said that the whole engine was different on the Cosworth. On the Vega, I guess so.
I thought it was just the head.
No, I remember reading an article about it a while ago. Back in the day, there wasn't information, but I did read something, and I think it was in Hemmings, and I didn't remember enough to speak about it, but I guess it was the whole package. So I'll do some research, and that's probably an interesting story.
Yeah, probably is. Hey, what's coming up in the future for this fine, upstanding program?
Future as in next Thursday?
Yeah.
Nothing. We're open.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, because I was just looking at the schedule page, and I'm like...
we were on a roll. We were booked. And schnooked and looked.
Yeah, it's usually the summer is something that it's almost very hit or miss as of late.
We were sometimes packed to the gills, and now we hit that point where I'm trying to reschedule.
People are aware of us now. They're like, oh yeah, those guys.
So, somebody may drop out of the clouds, and then you'll find out about it. As of right now, we are open. So start taking notes on something you want to talk about.
Very cool.
Or do something on your car so we can talk about that. That'd be even better.
I was just thinking, mental notes, start working on your car and breaking something so you can talk about it.
I've been driving a Pontiac, and again, like I said last time, I've been uneventful drives. Everything's been working fine. The brakes are working well now. Everything else is working fine. I readjusted the clutch, and I went by the service manual.
I was going to say the brakes are working well now because you installed the higher volume master cylinder, correct?
And boy, what a talk we had about that at Belmore on Friday night. The guy Joe that I just worked on a carburetor for, his buddy was looking at it and asked me questions and said, "What? Oh, I got the same thing." And he was like, "Oh, should I gotten involved in this?" And we talked at length about master cylinders and bleeding processes and yeah. So,
son of a gun.
But everything else has been uneventful, which is good. That's
like
a good
that.
thing.
Yes, good and uneventful. So.
Yeah.
So please join us on Thursday for more good and uneventful programming.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll have for you. That's Ray Guarino. I'm Chris Switzer. This is Motor Mouth Radio. And the best advice that we can always give is don't, and I do mean don't, follow us home. See ya.
Bye.